And we are live. Welcome everybody to tonight's sessions of the stream.
Hey.
Hello.
What up?
Oh my god, such low reactions today.
No.
Hello.
Sorry.
There's always one.
There's always one.
Are we up yet?
Are we up? Are we live yet? And guess what? We're live.
Yeah.
Alive too. Alive and kicking.
Yay.
Alive and kicking.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'll get to use my dice. I haven't been able to roll my dice for like a week.
Gosh.
Or I might not get to roll my dice. Hopefully I get to roll my dice.
Just keep asking to do shit. Eventually, you'll need to roll for something.
I hope I get to roll for something. I miss my dice.
It's like,
I want to find the perfect location to break my fast.
There we go. I brought up my reference book as well.
Wonderful. So, welcome everybody. I am on a different computer. So, because we noticed that my audio kept breaking out, and that was pretty much because the computer I was using before this was barely hanging on with the CPU power and stuff, and that might have been the reason why my audio keeps breaking up. So, if anything goes wrong, because it's running a lot of updates and stuff, sorry about that, but we'll do our best to have you notice as little, and have you had as little what's the word for it? Discomfort. That's the word I was looking for from it as possible. Other than that, I had an awesome time last adventure. I hope you guys did as well. And is there anything anybody wants to say, wants to mention before we kind of pick it up again?
Ellie's awesome.
Ellie is awesome. Okay,
Ellie's awesome.
That's your opinion, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yes, it totally is. No, but she did some really cool shit last episode, so if you haven't watched it, go check it out. I think we also did some pretty cool shit actually last episode. Taking down lots of
Vince nearly died. That was...
Yeah, that was also awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
He would disagree. Vividly.
Yeah. Of course he would.
Yeah, he's like, I had it under control. Sorry.
It's good.
Yeah. Oh, actually, before we start off, my internet has allegedly been fixed. If you've seen the last one, I cut out a lot at the end. I've been told it's been fixed, but while we were coming on there, it did drop out again. I am speaking to them in the other window here, like I'm talking to them right now to give them shit about it. So hopefully it's all good, but just in case that happens this stream as well.
So are you actually telling me that you are not focused on our adventure? You're talking to customer services while we're shaping this world?
Talking would be an exaggeration. Basically, they're going to tell me whether I've turned it on and off again. That internet problems happen. In fact, I've swapped people because the first person I was talking to actually closed the chat on because they were talking. I'll keep this family friendly rubbish. Basically saying that my issue would be resolved soon. And I said, no. There was an engineer out at my house 2 days ago and was told that it was resolved. And they're like, yeah, no, we'll be getting that fixed soon. I was like, no, you're not. You're not quite understanding. So I'm now talking to someone else. So don't worry, there will be very limited brain power going into that. In fact, as much brain power as they are using to communicate to me will be going back to them. So you're fine. The rest of it's all in here.
There we go. Okay, so you're actually going to play two characters today.
Yeah. And one's an asshole. I'll let you guess which one.
Just want to check something with you guys because just so we have a good voice level on everyone, like audio level going in on everyone. Do you guys think Roger is a bit louder than normal?
Speak, Ruger.
Hello?
And also
maybe
in comparison to like the rest of us, maybe?
All right, I can change that, I suppose.
Just a tad, not a lot, just a tad.
Just a tad. Volume input, I'll put it at 80%.
Yeah, go ahead.
To be fair, maybe not a bad thing that you can talk over us, given that you're God.
Yeah.
There you go. Is this better?
That's a lot better.
Okay, excellent.
Perfect.
Okay, so is everybody ready to dive back in?
No. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I'm excited to dive back in. We have
Good.
interesting stuff.
No objections, then I now pronounce you dive back in. Yeah. So, there's been a massive fight going on, spanning pretty much 2 episodes or so of our stream, and you guys managed to do something incredible. You not only stopped or confronted kobolds with their guards and stuff doing a ritual, but you've also taken care, or at least so it seems, the zombies that this ritual summoned, and you guys have killed them all. So there is a decent amount of zombie bodies, including kobold bodies, lying there, and a couple of skeletons here and there, just spread in for flavor, are spread out, and some of you barely hanged on to their dear life, and you've all decided that it's in the best interest to take a rest and regain your powers and your health and your stamina. Just a quick reference on hit points. As a player, I always, and also as a DM, I always thought that it was kind of weird that you would sleep one night and you would be like severely wounded, and you would sleep one night and you'd be like, bing, there we go, I'm perfectly fine now. But that's because people see hit points as just their how much are you damaged and how much are you hurt, and I see hit points more as a collective of many things, including your fighting spirit and your willingness to continue onwards, and your energy to just keep on fighting. That's not to say that if your hit points get low, you won't get hurt, but it's not like you heal and everything. If you spend one night asleep and everything is just fine. These other things heal up easily during a night's rest, but certain cuts and wounds aren't just magically disappeared. You still might have scars and cuts and bruises that need tending, but they no longer hinder you or make you drop below 0 hit points before that. That's just my view of it. It depends. Some people view it differently, but I just wanted to address that because some of you were badly hurt, have had very low hit points, and it's always like, okay, just one night rest and you're completely healed. So
I have a question on that then.
Yeah.
Does that mean, like, for example, if you have a broken arm, would it still be broken in the morning then?
In my game, yes.
Okay.
There
Just
is
checking, because
yeah.
those kind of things are good to know going in, and
absolutely. That's why I thought it'd be a good thing to address it. There's a difference between regaining your hit points through sleeping and having a long rest, in my opinion, and magical healing. Magical healing is you are completely fine and pretty much wounds close, you're rejuvenated, that sort of thing. A broken arm or a broken leg will happen, hopefully not very often, in my game. When it does, standard healing might require more than just the amount of hit points that you took as damage with that.
Okay.
Am I explaining it clearly to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
So what you're saying is Vince is still battered and bruised.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. It's not like you're now just fine. You still have bruises and cuts and things, but you can function as normal, and you can go into a new fight as if you weren't. But I always like the fact that things, how do I put it? Not linger, but that these things, you carry them with them for a while, and they will heal by themselves over time. But it's not like you have one night rest and everything is just gone, and you look like a newborn baby.
Sweet. I like that, actually. I really do like that, because it gives it a hint of realism, and it actually has a way of letting our characters get impacted by the story in a different way. For example, if you are fatally wounded, we can actually get scars, and if you just want to be like, oh, never mind, it doesn't look like you've been in battle. What battle are you talking about? You're unscarred.
Yeah. You look like the day you were created. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah,
you're fine.
Fresh as the day you were ruled.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I remember correctly, you guys kind of taken a bit of a distance from these rotting zombie bodies, and you found a spot to set up camp, or at least get some rest. Is that correct?
Yes. And
all right, excellent.
I think we settled in for a long rest, and
yeah. And Gemini was the first to keep watch, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gemini was, but I was also staying up because I was writing in my notebook, and I was like using the last time to just investigate the last effect of my alter self spell, and just like reflecting in general over the battle, and like being like all curious. So I'm up, and Gemini's probably up.
It really depends on what sort of time we're looking at here. Whether is it close to nighttime?
No, it's not very close to nighttime. It's more mid-afternoon.
Right. So there's a bit of time for us to sort of, mess about, do stuff before we sort of go to bed and rest.
Yeah. If you really want to, I can imagine that Vince would be the one that just drops to the ground and say, "Wake me, wake me when I'm alive again." Yeah. But other people might still want to do stuff. I would assume, but that's something that your characters will have to decide. That this is pretty much, you're going to stay here till morning.
Yeah. Varen will probably go around and sort of try to do the last rites on the bodies and bury as many as he can before dark. You might not get a few.
Okay, so how far did you guys move from the field to set up camp?
Out of smelling distance?
100 miles.
Out of smelling distance. So that's a considerable distance.
Oh, okay. I don't know then. It was just a suggestion. Because we didn't exactly discuss this last time. So
I thought it was just out of the clearing a bit. So because if I'm right, the fight actually took part in the clearing. It was ringed by trees. That's where I think we just went into the tree line a bit.
Okay.
And that kind of might make sense because Vince was really badly hurt, if I recall right.
Oh yeah. He would just walked up. That's fine.
Yeah, so he probably didn't get very far then either.
All right, that's fine. Just checking because if Varen is or isn't within line of sight of you guys, it's something that might be important.
Just in case he gets attacked. But yeah, no, he's because him being a paladin of the Lord of the Dead, he's going to check the zombie bodies and see if they're actual bodies that have been summoned from burial grounds, or they've just been summoned from nothing. But I assume they require bodies anyway, don't they? So he's going to deal with the zombie bodies, which doesn't care too much about the kobolds. So,
all right,
burn them all.
Roll me a religion check.
First roll of the day.
And it wasn't.
It's not mine. It's not mine.
Aww.
So sad.
So 12 plus religion 3. That's 15.
15. Okay. You check the bodies and
they check back.
It's clear to you that these indeed have been summoned by a relatively powerful ritual. And it's also clear to you that these bodies are all they have all died at a similar time. And as you look at them, it's clear to you. It becomes clear to you that these bodies are the remains of the lumberjacks that were probably here and that were killed by the orcs when they attacked.
Right. That's okay. I tried to bury them as order as possible, not lopping off heads or burning, sort of thing. So.
All right.
Always.
While he's doing that, oh, I'm sorry.
No, just yeah. Vince is
Vince is knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gemini's gonna take the what was it? 35 gold, 18 silver, 92 copper, and he's gonna partition it out accordingly. Or 35 gold, I guess. So yeah, so everybody gets 9 gold, 2 silver, and 23 copper.
Fair enough. Just put it into his hat. Just while he's lying there, just
oh yeah, no, I was just gonna slip it. Yeah, just like throw it at him or something.
You said 9 gold, 2 silver, and
23 copper.
23 copper.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Woo-hoo.
And now, so Baron's off in the field. We're out in the forest. Is somebody listening to the stream?
Yeah, sorry, it was me. I was just turning it on and I forgot to turn off and down when I followed.
No problem.
How much copper did you say again, Gemini?
How much what? Copper?
Copper.
23.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, look how he's rich.
And then, okay, so where then, Vince is knocked out, but where is Ellie situated near Gemini?
Probably not too far away. Probably not exactly direct near him, but definitely within speaking distance, because we kind of probably set up a camp, and she's like sitting on a backpack, kind of writing in her notebook, and like she would have been using the last minutes of the spell to like make herself alter appearance and be like, "Whoa, what is this? And how does it work?" And then when it runs out, she'll be just like taking random notes, kinda.
Got it. Okay. So Gemini's gonna walk up and he's gonna be like, Ellie, what the hell happened back there? What was why were you all dragging me?
Well, that's a great question.
Yes, that's why I asked.
Well, it kind of started with that we ran into the skeleton, and I was like, shit, there's a skeleton, and I wasn't really ready to fight, and it seemed like a really stupid idea to fight, so I was like, hey, I'm one of you guys, and suddenly I kind of looked like a kobold, I think. I mean, I didn't really see myself, so I couldn't really tell, but my hands got all scaly and like clawy and kobold-like, and it happened.
That, to me, sounds like magic.
Well, I haven't exactly trained it, I guess.
What?
Well, I haven't exactly trained for it, so I guess.
Oh, trained, okay. So
I mean, it's not like I'm lifting things. It doesn't.
You've never trained like Vince or Baron with the religious types or with the book types?
No. Should I have? Is that
well,
how you learn magic? Is that how I should be learning? Is that how it's supposed to happen? But
there are other ways. For instance, I play music, which we also know you don't do. So, I mean, have you made any deals possibly with some sort of devil?
Does the shopkeeper on the corner count?
Yes, in this town.
No, not in this town. In what's it called? Roger, help me out. Where's that from? I think he's muted himself.
Yeah, you muted yourself.
Sorry.
I don't know where I'm from anymore. I forgot where I'm from.
You are from the capital.
Yeah, but I forgot what the capital was called.
Andorra, I wrote it down.
Andorra, yeah.
Andorra.
Oh, you forgot where you're from.
Yeah, but actually, I wouldn't be surprised if she did. Actually, thinking of it.
I'm from that place.
I'm from you know my hometown, like you know the capital. There's like
Andorra.
there's like a shopkeeper on the corner, and I kind of made a deal that I'd always bring back the milk bottles whenever we had leftover milk bottles, and then I would get a discount on the new milk bottles. Isn't that a deal? Does that count?
Were these evil milk bottles?
They were glass. Is glass evil? Have I missed something?
Can be. I don't know how to talk to you. I am going to go into the forest. Deep into the forest, and I'm going to piss. And he just walks away. And the further he...
I would kind of look after him and be like, he's a strange guy.
Once he's completely out of eye and earshot, he's going to take out the letter and just kind of lean against a tree and read it.
All right. There you go. I sent you the content of the letter, so you know what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
As a point after he walks off into the forest, Vince pees.
just laying there.
Gross.
Nature calls. He is badly hungover and has got the shit kicked out of him.
That's true. And that's a point.
Yeah.
I will get up, take my stuff, and move it a little bit further away from Vince.
Yeah, zombie smell from one side, pee smell from the other. It's lovely.
Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, stuck in the middle.
I don't like you.
All right, so you, Ellie, will see Varen, who is hard at work. Do you have a shovel, Varen, or something?
Actually, it's a good question. Do I have a shovel?
Something you should have gotten at the store with the letter.
Yeah, no, I actually don't have a shovel. I do remember that some of the kits actually start with a shovel. Which is
you could have used a crowbar even.
Yeah.
No, I do not have a shovel, so I'm probably using something makeshift.
What are you using?
Claws in time.
Piece of a skeleton. Fashion it into him.
Dig out with one of them.
Just a hollowed out skull.
Scooping it out. Like a true paladin.
Could probably be using some of the axes and stuff I picked up, but that's about it. That would just sort of loosen the earth, and then I would just probably hand it out.
All right. So already a taxing task becomes all the more taxing because you don't have the proper tools to do it.
Didn't think it was going to be burying bodies today, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Can Ellie see this and be put down her stuff and walk up to Varian? Varian?
Yes, Ellie?
Wouldn't it be quicker to burn them and give them a funeral pyre?
These were good people. These were the axemen that chopped the trees for the village. They deserve a proper burial, not a burning.
Would an individual burning be more better then?
I don't have the required equipment to burn them along with incense and ritualistic way. So I chose to just bury them with some holy water.
And it has to be the kind of ritualistic way? It seems like a lot of work.
Yes. Well, these were good people. That's why I'm not burying the kobolds.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How'd you know they were good people? Guy might have been a dick.
What was that, Vince? I didn't hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was. firebolt into the air somewhere.
He peed himself. Don't trust him.
Can't trust people to pee themselves.
That's the part that you're. I'm still carrying the brain juice.
What is that weird smell?
But the
over
pee
the
and
smell of the
master.
bodies.
No, okay.
Yes. They were slaughtered, obviously, by orcs, and I suppose he deserves some kind of burial.
Is it related to that name you called out? That Kalimvor name?
Kalimvor? No, Kalimvor is my god.
Oh.
I follow under Kalimvor as a paladin. He is a god of the dead, yes, and he does respect doing the rites of the dead to good people and alike.
So
by this time, would I be done reading and making my way?
Most likely, it's not a very long letter, so yeah.
Okay, so we'll just say I'm on my way. All right, go ahead.
So I will glance back towards the camp and recall what Gemini said about learning magic from a god, and so does he make you stronger?
Yes. Every night and every morning I go to bed, I pray to Kalimvor, and he grants me the powers that I gain, as you have seen in battle. He gives me the powers to heal and cure diseases and do burial rites and weddings and stuff. That's what Kalimvor is all about. He's a god, and most gods grant powers, so...
Kind of like other creatures?
What do you mean, other creatures?
Well, maybe. Well, you see, my great aunt, she kind of gets her power from something. She doesn't really talk about what it is. But
I wouldn't know much about magic myself, but I've only heard that it can be granted by patrons. Some learn magic from books, and others just have an innate ability of magic, sometimes in their blood. So
I see.
That's all I know. Magic is not for me.
But you use magic.
It's not really magic, no. It's like divine blessing granted by the gods.
Sounds like magic to me, Gemini comes out.
Doves.
It's just doves. So what's going on over here?
And where did you come from, Gemini?
Pissing.
It seems there's a lot of that going around.
Yes. Well, there was quite a bit of drinking and fighting. And not a lot of pissing. There needed to be some pissing.
Yes, if they couldn't smell the bodies, they will smell the piss.
Yes, they will. We're just marking our territory. So, what's happening over here?
I will look at both Varun and Gemini. Does Dragonborn mark the territories?
Yes. Vince just
I just give Gemini an intense stare, like a glare of why?
thumb, mage hand thumb.
So
does it look like a dog's? Is it like one of those retractable ones?
Oh, I get it.
Yes.
Some of you do and some of you don't. It has to do with your skin color. Or with your scale color.
That's racist.
That's incredibly racist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just insulted our entire culture.
How dare you?
I'm very sorry. But you're making fun of me, aren't you? I will look at Gemini. You just make fun of... You're rude.
Yes. So are we going to burn these bodies or what?
No.
I do not wish to burn the human bodies, the zombies.
Well, they're not human anymore. They're zombies, and if there's anything I know about zombies, is they keep coming back.
No, not entirely, no. If they are blessed properly, they do not come back. I have experienced this.
Well,
that is why I'm trying to bury them, but...
We can't just do a bless and burn?
I asked already, he said no.
It's kind of from what I can gather, it's a different ritual, and I do not have the appropriate materials for burning and incensing the bodies.
Gemini in the top left corner of your screen just says Vince approved of this.
Well then, I guess we won't have to wake up Vince and aim him at the bodies then.
I think he's as dead as these zombies right now.
Well, yes, he doesn't smell much better than them, that's for certain.
Vince peas.
Vince.
You've activated my trap card.
So you're just going to bury each and every one of these zombies. There's what, 12 of them, and you're going to dig a grave for each of them.
It will probably take a long time, yes.
Yes, we have things to do.
Well, can I sort of figure out how long it would probably take to bury 12 bodies?
With the tools that you have to your equipment, to your disposal, hours.
Yeah.
You will not be done by sundown. You will hopefully, if you continue working at a steady pace, be done at sunup.
Gemini reaches into his bag, takes out his shovel that I just realized he has, and tosses it to Baron.
That would have been useful.
I think you should have kept it. I took it out and tied it to the back of your backpack and just went,
took it out and just started swinging it around. Well, good luck with that. Just walk away.
Varen kind of looks a bit weird at Gemini, because I'm guessing this is about the moment in time that he gives Varen's share of the gold.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and he goes, "Who are you and what have you done with Gemini?"
Look, you know how there are good people and there are bad people?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an impatient person. I don't want to wait for you to do your bullshit here with your god to these zombies that I don't care about. It's honestly much better if we burn them. I know this from experience. I don't have much faith in your god, his powers, or any god or their powers. But clearly you do. And that is going to hold us back. So whatever I can do to speed that process along is what I'm going to do. Here. And you may keep the shovel.
Okay. I appreciate the shovel.
I appreciate this hurrying along. I'm going to go have a siesta.
It wouldn't impair your time anyway, so I don't know why you would go out of your way.
Maybe I'm one of the good guys.
I was the one that chose to do this. This comes under my religion, really.
Yes, but the rest of us would have to wait for you if it took very long.
No, I would have probably given up at a certain point.
Oh, well, then give me the shovel back. If we're going to keep arguing about it, then...
Just let them make the graves. There's no harm in it.
How much shorter would it take to do this with a shovel?
A lot shorter, because it's a proper tool, but it'll still take you hours to dig deep enough graves. And are you planning on making separate graves for all of them, or one massive grave?
Probably just one mass grave, because I know I don't have a lot of time to be sort of doing this sort of stuff. So yeah. I'm probably going to bury as many as I can within the time frame before I have to go to sleep.
Okay. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. The ground here isn't very loose. There's a lot of roots and stuff and things in it, rocks. So yeah, you're gonna be busy for a while.
That's what I'll do. I'll bury as many as I can.
All right. So you, with the shovel, it really makes a big difference. So you just start shoveling away, and sometimes actually you need to pull out your axe to chop a couple of branches and or roots to get through it, but it helps.
That's
roll me a Constitution check.
Constitution?
Yeah.
hernia.
Probably not going to be a great one, actually. Let's see. That's just 6, really.
6. Okay. So you are digging and digging and digging and digging. And when you get to about almost to a quarter of what you need to put these bodies in and stuff, you can feel your body is like, okay, and enough. This is okay. I'm done. What do you do?
Well, kind of knowing that we just, after fighting probably a large scale battle where a couple of us nearly probably died, I could assume that my body would be giving out by now. So I'll probably bury as many as I can and then probably head for bed.
Okay. So you pretty much cram in the bodies as much as you can in the hole that you dug. Ellie and Gemini, you will of course see this going on in front of you, and you kind of you'll notice before Varen actually starts to give in. You'll notice that the amount of dirt and the speed that the dirt is being dug out is getting lower and lower and lower, and then after a while, you just see Varen kind of climb out of the hole and just kind of look at it for a moment, and then he just looks around and just starts piling bodies into it.
I'm actually gonna, at the end, I'll actually walk over to Varian and like help push the dirt up over the bodies.
Okay.
Just to like help him out a bit.
Do we last rites, take out a bit of holy water and hold it in my hand and drip it on the bodies and just do may kill him vor, take you to the other side, and then bury the rest of them, and that's it.
All right.
And as he finished, I'm gonna ask, do you normally put some kind of like marker or something on the grave?
I suppose I could. I'm utterly exhausted though.
No, I'm just wondering if it's like a sign that I can maybe make a temporary sign. I think I can do that.
We could do a cross with some wood or something.
I will make an image of a cross appear on top of the grave with prestidigitation. Like a cross, and then it appears. It's not very big, and it will only last like an hour. But I think I can do that.
You make like an illusion or
like an illusion. Like the spell says, you make a color or a small mark or a symbol appear on an object or a surface for 1 hour.
Yeah, so you would have to place something there that you would make the symbol on. You can make it out of the ground, but you can't like just make something appear out of the ground.
No, I was thinking it was gonna lie flat.
Okay,
so
yeah,
that's
on the perfectly doable. Yeah, you kind of mark it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Baron will turn to Ellie. That'll probably do. How long does that last for?
Oh, I don't think it's very long.
That's okay. In the morning, I'll maybe make some ramshackle things, and then we'll head on our way.
Okay.
I need to get rest.
So you join the rest of the party and just get rest. Just a quick question. I'm pretty sure I know it from Vince and from Gemini and Ellie, but I wanted to check with all of you. What type of armor are you wearing?
None.
Mine's chainmail.
Chainmail. Okay. Is that light, medium, or heavy?
It's heavy chainmail.
Okay.
Studded leather.
And is it light, medium, or heavy?
Light.
Light. Okay. Then you, Varen, are the only one that has this this problem. Sleeping in heavy armor, it's not really great.
I don't usually sleep in it. I usually take it off, and then. Yeah.
Okay. Are you aware of taking it off and stuff? What it does?
It should drop my AC, but it usually takes about like an hour to take it off, and then it's about half an hour to put it back on again, or something.
It's luckily not that bad, but it's 10 minutes to put it on and 5 minutes to take it off.
Right.
So that's something that you need to be aware of if anything happens during your rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you take off your chainmail and you make yourself comfortable. Probably eat something and get to rest. What's the rest of the party do?
Gemini will take first watch.
I take it it's now been an hour at this point since the fight.
Yeah. No. Since the fight, it's been longer.
Okay.
The fight, right. It's because Varen has been hard at work digging holes and stuff. So it's been, I don't know, 3, maybe even 4 hours since the fight.
Oh, that's okay. No, I was changing my hit points. So like Vince had filled himself with that necromantic energy to keep himself alive, and it is now worn off, and he's like.
He's even more done than he was.
Yeah.
So Gemini takes first watch. Ellie, you also go to sleep, or you stay awake?
I'm probably staying up a bit because I have a lot on my mind, and
okay.
I'm really missing Fluffles.
All right.
And it's like a bit weird to go to bed, so I'm actually gonna go sit next by Gemini for a bit again. And I'm gonna ask, is it really weird that I just can do things?
Yes.
Like bad weird?
Well, I mean, you are a gnome.
Yeah. I can make things
you
too.
You were. Yes, that's very true. You were, for a moment there, a dragon.
No. Was I?
You were partially dragon. You appeared dragon, and I mean, if I know anything, it's about being partially dragon. So, yes, I would say, I mean, being a dragon isn't an innately bad thing, but it is odd.
Would it be really odd if something like that maybe lasted?
Yes, that would be very odd. Why?
But can you keep a secret?
If there's one thing I can do, it's keep a secret, yes.
Okay, can you keep my secret?
That's Sipia.
I'm gonna take off like my coat and just roll up one of my sleeves, and I'm gonna show him my elbow, and you can kind of see this like sheen like scaly pattern covering my skin. It doesn't look like it's exactly skins, but it's like it doesn't look like it's part of my skin, but it's or like actually scales, but it looks like it's scaly pattern kind of.
What color is it, or is
gold.
It not colored?
It's golden.
Gold. Would I recognize this very well? Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah.
Why
I mean, what do you mean by recognize it?
Would I know essentially that it is scales, and if so, would I know what kind of scales?
You would definitely know that it's scales. What do you mean by what kind of scales?
Like, would I recognize it as dragon scale, or would I? Because I assume different scaled creatures have different types of scales. Like a kobold would probably have different types of scales than a dragonborn than a fish. So
yeah, okay, yeah. Well, she's just at this point she's just showing it to you. So to be absolutely sure, you would have to kind of get a bit closer and look at it closer to examine it a bit. But
okay, yeah,
it looks familiar to you. That's definitely it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of get closer and give it a good look.
I will let him look at my elbow.
Yeah, roll. You can either roll investigation, perception, or nature.
Okay. That's a 15.
A 15. You look at it and you touch it for a moment. The moment you pretty much touch it, oh yeah, you're absolutely sure this is the stuff that's covering your body as well.
Ellie, where did you get this?
I didn't. I think they were like there suddenly.
Is one of your parents a dragonborn or?
No, they're gnomes.
Right. Did something occur before the scaling that may have led to it, possibly?
I don't know.
Well, you see, that sounds like something you might want to know. Nothing odd. No, you didn't run into a wicked hag that put a curse upon you, or
no.
Speak to some sort of shadow or angelic being, or read a mystic tome.
I mean, my great auntie does that kinda, but
what?
I haven't, and she won't let me near me when she does it.
So, your aunt, she has a patron or a god that she speaks to?
I don't think it's a god.
Well then.
She won't really name it either. And when she does speak about it, it's usually pretty bad words. She seems angry at it a lot.
It might very well be a god. In my experience. And there's nothing you can think of that may have led to this. You didn't, I don't know, open a mystical tome, drink some sort of potion, solve a puzzle cube.
Those things, no.
You don't know, as in...
No, I did not do any of those things.
Do you have memory of what happened before?
Well, I might have caused an explosion. Well, it was very weird.
Okay. And how did you do that?
I will look him over really well and like, are you sure you're not gonna freak out or anything?
Sweetheart, look at me. I am the freakiest thing here. Okay. You can't freak out the freakiest freak.
Well, okay, I will fish out my medallion. I found this, except it didn't look like this, and I will hold up the golden scale that I have, that I haven't shown any of you guys yet.
Papa?
Papa, can you hear me?
It was really like covered up in like some kind of like dirt or rock even. And I was kind of tinkering with it and trying to uncover it because it kind of looked like something fancy, you know. And I thought it was a shame that it was like all like unrecognizable, and it kind of exploded on me. I didn't really think it was really weird because things explode on me all the time.
Well, that's disconcerting. But how, if it exploded, how is it still here?
It's really strong.
Oh, okay then. Would you mind if I detected magic? If I were to cast a spell to tell me whether or not this item is in fact magical?
Actually, I would. I will put it back.
Well,
it feels good to keep it closed just all the time. I don't really wanna take it off.
Huh. Yes, I once knew a small man, small like yourself, very frail though and pale. He was the same way with the ring. This upsets me.
Sorry,
But,
I'm dying. Sorry. Okay, I'm good.
The optic must be very precious.
Yeah. So ever since that event, you've been able to shoot fire from your hands and turn more.
Kinda, not everything at once. It just comes kinda when I need it, and as it goes on, and at this point, I'm actually gonna be really curious about what Gemini thinks, and without being super aware of what doing, like, I'm gonna cast a spell on him called Detect Thoughts. And be like, do you think it's really weird? And that's gonna be the trigger for it, because...
All right. Did you have enough spell slots to still do it?
I have one spell slot, because you said we leveled up.
Oh, there you go.
And since I'm still kinda still holding the scale, kinda clutching it in my hand still, even though I took the back down a bit.
What's the save on it?
It's a Wisdom 14.
Okay. Okay. Natural 20. When it doesn't matter at all.
Okay, let me just see what happens if you actually know that I'm doing this.
I would assume so, yeah.
Probably. I'm just reading. Oh, wait, hang on. It says you initially learn the surface thoughts of the creature. What is most on his mind in that moment as an action can either shift your attention to another creature's thoughts or attempt to probe deeper into the same creature's mind. If you probe deeper, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, you gain insight into his reasoning, if any, his emotional state, and something that looms over and large in his mind, something as he worries over, loves, or hates. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Either way, the target knows that you're probing into his mind.
Yeah. So the spell, is it just verbal or seismatic or material?
It's all of them. It's verbal, somatic, and material.
Okay, so
so I noticed her just fucking with
yeah.
in front of me.
Yeah,
what do you think?
You see,
I'm fiddling with the thing at the same time because I am kind of nervous.
You see Ellie kind of is in this conversation with you, and as she's kind of holding the necklace, you see her kind of making gestures with her hand, and suddenly she speaks a language that is slightly familiar to you, but it's their words. The sounds sound familiar, but the words are different. You don't know the words, and you just see this magical thing just coming towards you, and this your mind just automatically like closes its doors, and the spell just kind of fades on impact with you.
Oh, so you can cast spells on me, but I can't on you.
I'm gonna just look at him and like instantly drop the thing back inside. I'm like, did I do that?
Yes.
See, things just happen.
Yes, that seemed premeditated. What was your question?
What you thought about it, and that if you thought it was really weird or like
yes.
strange.
It's very,
and I was
very
really
fucking
worried
weird
about what you were thinking, and
it's
I
very
wanted
strange.
to know, and I did.
Ellie, when have you known me to lie in order to save someone's feelings?
Good. I don't know. Never, I guess. Unless you're really good at lying.
Oh, well, according to the dice rolls, I'm not.
and you think something really, really bad, and you actually say something that's less bad to make people think you're saying the worst thing.
Oh, no. I usually say whatever just jumps to my brain first.
Oh.
You don't have to cast spells on me to find out what I'm thinking.
But I didn't do it on purpose. Just like I didn't turn into the kobold on purpose. I kind of wanted to know, and I did it, but I didn't. This doesn't make sense either.
Insight check. I want to know if this is true.
All right.
Jesus.
What do you know? 2 fights and so many episodes.
That's a 7.
A 7. You don't know. She seems genuine, but there's just this. Her face is you could see her being a good liar because it's just it's in a constant position of just I don't know. Yeah. It's just
Well, I'll tell you what, Ellie.
Yeah.
If you want to know something, I promise you that I will do my best to be upfront and truthful. You do not need to cast spells on me.
I will nod and I promise I didn't try to do it on purpose. I think.
Well, that's concerning. There's so much that is concerning about this.
What? But
how come you haven't?
Yeah.
How come you haven't told the others? Baron is good with the magics and the gods and talking to things. Why have you not spoken to him?
Well, well, you asked questions about it first, and he looks really beat, and he buried all the bodies, and if he's dangerous, I don't want everyone to worry.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's people kind of got worried when I first did something magical, really freaky, really freaking out worried. And that's why I lived with my great auntie for quite a while as well, because she knows more about it, but not everything. But and I trained. I mean, I learned some control. I can do things on purpose as well. Yeah. But the first time I do things is usually just I feel a need to do it, and sometimes I can.
Listen to me. In this world, people will fear what they don't understand. They'll fear you for your magic, and we live in a world of magic, so they have no right to fear you. But they will, because they don't understand it. People have feared me for a very long time, just from a look. You cannot fear yourself as well. Whatever this is, you must face it. I'm certain Baron will help. If it is something that is dangerous and flammable, I'm certain Vince will help.
Well, I do have some fire skills.
Yes, but I feel he enjoys it more.
Yeah, okay. I will think about it.
Don't be afraid of your power, of whatever gave you your power or yourself.
I mean, it doesn't feel scary. Not when I use it.
But you're worried.
Well, it feels really good. Mostly. And most people can't do it, and that's not how most people seem to do things.
It's not. You're special. I'm uncertain as to why, but I am certain we will find out.
Yeah. Okay. But you promise you won't tell the others?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know what? I miss Fluffles. I think I'm gonna try to go get some sleep.
You do that.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
And I will just like quietly go and like make my bedroll and like actually try to sleep.
All right. You get some rest, and Gemini is the only one that is awake at this point. Roll a perception check for me, Gemini.
$14.
14. Okay. So you keep an eye out on everything going around you. Did you guys make I'm assuming not in the beginning, but now that it's getting darker, are you going to make a fire?
Did anyone make it before they went to bed? Or do I have to make
I didn't say anybody make it, so...
Right. Okay. Do I have anything with which to make a fire? Is the new question. I can mock one into existence.
Coughing at a stick like you.
Damn, I don't think I have anything to make one with.
You could probably just kick Vince, and something will flame up.
Yeah, just press on his chest, as if you're doing CPR. And
no, I'm afraid pee will come out. Or...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
or something worse. Yeah.
Every orifice evacuates something,
Yeah. You could probably also wake up the one that just talked about fire.
Yeah. I'll kick Vince. Because he's been out for like 5 hours at this point.
Yeah.
Vince. I'll use Mage Hand to just like cover his nose and mouth.
Ow.
Oh, good morning, sunshine.
Ow.
Yes, that's... Are you feeling better?
Ow.
Excellent. I've gathered some sticks and twigs over there, and you'll be able to go right back to sleep as soon as you light them on fire.
It's a good thing you added the leaves, because as we mentioned before, magical fire that is just for a moment of impact doesn't usually do a lot to start proper fires, but you added enough dry leaves so that it just catches fire and it starts to burn. So you feed it a bit more wood, and you have a proper fire going.
Cool.
So you keep a lookout, and you see it from twilight slowly becoming more and more dark, and it seems all quiet. You hear in the distance what you would assume, and during your travels, you've learned that are most likely animal noises of things in the distance, but the fire definitely keeps them at bay. And you'll notice yourself that after a while, you yourself will get tired, and you think that how long you need to keep watch, your shift is probably done by this time. Who do you wake up?
Trying to think. Ollie was the last one to sleep, but Varen was working that whole time, and Vince is damn near dead. So I'll wake up Varen.
All right.
I'll just lean over and whisper in his ear, "Rise and shine."
Instantly, the axe comes out.
Whoa!
Like inches from your throat, and it's like,
That's a mighty close shave. Would you like to take your watch now?
Yes. I'll get to it. He slowly gets up and obviously dons his armor on for the next, 10 minutes, and then picks a wee spot to sit down and does his watch.
I won't even set up my bed. I'll sleep in his as soon as he vacates it.
Okay. So it's nice and warm, so you just roll in it and.
Varen takes a look back and doesn't pay no mind really.
All right, Varen, roll your perception.
Okay. These. Oh, just straight perception. Yeah, that's just a 10.
A 10. Okay. So you sit there and you see your other party members quickly all are fast asleep, and you look around. Everything seems quiet and peaceful, and pretty much the same as with Gemini. You hear in the distance sounds and noises being made, but they don't alarm you or anything, and they're at a distance where you think like, okay, if they would come quite a bit closer, I might need to check it out, but as long as they keep the distance, it's all fine. So your watch ends uneventful.
Fair enough.
Who do you wake, or do you stay up all night?
Well, knowing at this point, Varen is probably a bit tired still. Yeah. His muscles are probably still aching as well. I was going to say he was going to do something else, but physical exertion is probably not in his system right now. So I'll come over to them and take a look around and remember Gemini was last on watch, so he doesn't need to go. Vince looks terrible. Like, even worse than when he healed him terrible. So he's gonna leave him and go over to Ellie and just sort of like put a hand on her shoulder and sort of shake her awake as quietly as possible. And just be like,
you walk over to Ellie. Roll your perception.
That's 14.
It's 14. You walk over to her and you see her very comfortably sleeping, and she has like kind of rolled into a bedroll and just looks very comfortable. And you see that as she is sleeping, there is a glow coming from her.
From what sort of position in her body?
It's just below her chin, between like her chest and just under her neck. But it's covered, and there's like little bits of very damp light, but because it's relatively dark, you can see it.
Baron sort of sees the little dim light and goes, could be a symbol, or maybe she's just cast magic, keep herself warm. And he'll just shake her awake, not really paying much mind to it.
You shake her awake, and
Ellie, it's your watch, dear.
Is it morning?
Not yet, no.
Slowly, like, unfurl, basically.
You notice that at the moment her eyes open and she immediately, is it morning? She asks you, the light disappears.
Strange.
Strange?
Ellie,
What's strange? And I will just rub my eyes at the same time.
It's time, dear. I know you probably haven't slept very long, but someone has to keep watch so we all don't die, you know, it's terrible.
No, I'm fine. I'm up. And I will, like, slowly sit up and, like, look around, be like, oh, yeah, right. And remember, Fluffles isn't there. He's not supposed to be there. It's fine. What you say? Yes, keep a watch?
Yes.
So, if bad things come, I'll wake you up.
Okay.
Okay, I'm up. And I will get up and like shake myself awake and kind of quickly become quite a lot more alert.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Farron, knowing that probably Ellie's bedroll is probably not big enough for Farron.
Nope, it's gnome size, man.
Farron will go over to Gemini's backpack and see if his bedroll is sitting.
The bedroll's like laid on the backpack for you. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll obviously unfurl it and start sleeping on that.
Before Farron goes to bed, I'm just gonna ask: am I supposed to wake someone else up after a while?
Yes. Take about 2 hours, and then hopefully Vince should be okay.
Yeah, at that point he'll have been asleep for like 11 hours.
Yeah, okay. I'll do so.
That will do. And then you just hear the distinct clinking of armor being taken off and
All right.
And thud.
You crawl into this cold bedroll, and it's just. But well, you've dealt with worse, and you just make yourself comfortable as much as you can, and just go to sleep. There's nothing strange in your bedroll or anything, Gemini.
Would there be anything strange in the? If you were awake, I would say Mage Hand, but no.
No? Okay. There you go.
Nothing hidden in the bedroll, no.
Nothing hidden or...
Yeah. It's just a scroll, Dragonborn Monthly.
Yeah.
Few of the pages are stuck together.
Oh, dear.
So.
There you go. Okay, so you, Ellie, will quickly notice that the party finds its rest again, and you sit there and kind of keep watch. It's strange. You look at the others, and you're accustomed being around them when they're, at least most of them, are awake and talkative and lively and stuff. And now that you're sitting here and you just hear the fire crackling a bit, and you now and then throw a little piece of wood on it, it's quiet. Nobody's talking, and yeah, it's kind of weird.
Can I just listen and listening to nature and see?
Sure, roll your perception.
Something else. Ooh, this is good. That's a 16 plus 4. That's a 20.
20. Wow. Okay, so you sit there, and it's quiet, and you don't know if it's your own thoughts and your own things that you're used to or things that you're comfortable with, but it's just, it's weird. And as you slowly but surely start to kind of will yourself to get used to the quiet, you hear something, and it's very soft, but your gnome ears kind of pick up, and you hear what sounds like footsteps, or at least, I wouldn't say foot, because that would mean that it's something with feet, but you hear walking.
Can I I will turn towards the source of the sound?
Mm-hmm.
Do I see something?
You have dark vision, so for, I believe it's 60 feet, right?
Yes, dark vision 60 feet.
Yeah, so you see relatively well for the first 60 feet, but then it just becomes dark to you as well. So you look in the direction, and no, you don't see anything.
But I can still hear it?
Yeah, you think you're still hearing it, yeah.
Can I try to sneak closer?
Sure. You get up and you sneak towards it, leaving the rest of the party by themselves.
I will not go too far, but just a little bit closer.
Okay. How far do you go?
Probably like 30 feet, maybe. So I can kind of get to them quickly, but not. But I will walk really slowly, and I will like keep looking back over my shoulder, because I'm not sure if this counts as dangerous, but I'm very curious, and I want to know what it is. I'm kind of gonna try to find the footsteps.
All right, roll your stealth.
Yep. It's not a natural one.
Okay.
It's not a natural one, but it's a 2. Bad dice.
All right. So you get up and you start to move towards it. You don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the unnerving sensation that's in your body, or the fact that your last stealth roll was like extremely high and you were, I got this. This forest is my bitch. So you just start to move in the direction of where the sound is coming from. Everybody else, roll your perception. Roll initiative, yeah.
That's a 3 for me. Not hearing anything.
That's a 12 for Vince.
17.
All right. What did you roll, Varen?
3.
3. Okay. Gemini, you are the you kind of lying there and you're dreaming of whatever it is that Gemini dreams of, and
Sex.
Okay. So you wake up as you hear.
What is this?
And you wake up and you see. Roll your perception again, just to see what you see. The first roll was just to see if you woke up or not.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. There you go. Oh, I love it when the dice tell my story. You just wake up and you kind of look around because you are positive you heard something, and you see 2 bodies lying there. You're pretty sure they're at least Vince and somebody else. You think it's Varen from the size and the little bits of light reflecting from his from the chainmail. Look at.
He's in my sleeping bag, right?
Yeah.
My bright pink sleeping bag.
If it's a bright pink sleeping bag, then yes.
Of course, it's a bright pink sleeping bag.
There you go. But you register, your brain registers them, and you kind of look at the spot where at least you were sitting when you were keeping watch, which is the best spot to kind of keep an eye out of everything. It's empty, and what the shit? And you look around and you see a dark shadow just creeping away from the camp, and you were like. Footsteps moving.
Can I make out the shape of the shadow? If it's tall, small,
female? No,
male?
Because you just see the shadow, and it's the shadow that is being cast from the fire. So your brain is alert enough to not really trust the size, because it looks relatively big, but it could be any size at this point.
Gemini will jump out of bed and he'll say, "Awake with you!" and just scream it real loud so everybody wakes up.
Everybody wakes up, especially you, Ellie. You are just moving closer, and all of a sudden you hear screaming. Well, yeah, pretty much screaming behind you, and you're like, you have a heart attack, pretty much.
I'll turn to the guys. Ellie's gone. There appears to be a monster. We strike now. Ask questions later. Go!
And as Gemini screams, goes, wait, what? Where's the monster?
Vince, as soon as he wakes up, whenever he jolts awake and sees a star, he throws light up into the air, sort of just
blobs of light just
Jesus.
shine down upon you.
Everyone's retinas are gone.
Oh god!
Seriously?
Oh god! I can't see the monster, but it sounds like Ellie.
Even Vince is now like.
He gets the shield out and guards himself from the light.
Okay. You're all semi-blinded at this point. You're like, ah!
I like covers his head in his coat.
All right. Well, so you're all kind of trying to get used to the light that is all of a sudden very brightly shining down upon you. But the strangest thing is happening. Nobody's being attacked, which is kind of weird. You're like, you're trying to. Everybody's trying to get a look, but the light is just so bright.
Do I know that the lights came from Vince, or did I just see blinding light out of nowhere?
Maybe roll your perception to see if you noticed it.
That's a 16.
16. Yeah, you will have noticed that the first thing Vince did when he woke up, he opened his eyes and you saw his hand just going up into the air and blobs of light, and that's the moment where you lost your proper sight.
Just damn it, Vince! What? Allie's gone. I heard her voice. I don't know what's happening.
I'm over here. Turn off the light.
Over where?
Fire! Hey, fire!
Varen grabs his axe and back rolls out of the bedroll into attack stance, ready to fight.
Oh, while Vince is screaming fire, he's going to use his all-new cantrip to make the wee campfire, just make it double in size as well. Like fire! Come on!
So more light and more heat is now being generated.
Also, it's purple and. Oh yeah, it also doubles the brightness. Yes, so it is now.
Varen has turned away from the light source at this point, assuming it used to the dark to see anything.
Yeah, Gemini's just trying to let his eyes focus in his coat and then kind
of
look up.
It takes a moment, but you guys start to slowly regain your vision, and you see pretty much the four of you just standing there, all of you just kind of peeking over corners of cloths or shields or whatever it is that you are blocking yourself from this light. And everybody except Ellie, roll your perception with disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
That's a 1.
Oh, that was 10.
10, okay.
With disadvantage, that's a 19.
A 19, whoa.
14, 15. Yeah.
Varen and Gemini will be the two to notice. You notice Ellie kind of standing there, blocking her sight and just kind of peeking towards you guys. And you guys look at her and you see this tiny little cat just sitting next to her. And it's just looking at you guys.
Is it Fluffles?
It is Fluffles.
Ellie,
Yeah.
where did Fluffles come from?
Fluffles isn't here.
Maybe you should look down.
I will look down.
Gemini goes to bed.
You see Fluffles there.
Fluffles! And I will pick him up. How did you get here?
Oh dear.
You were supposed to stay safe.
Ellie,
Aw.
is there any
It's
enemies?
purring.
Ellie, dear, is there anything to attack right now? I am so.
Did you make all the noise?
No.
I'm gonna assume it was he that made all the noise. I heard a noise, so a noise. I heard like steps, and I thought that it would be good to investigate. But I haven't seen anything bad. You're not attacking my cat.
Okay. Gemini,
Is
you were the
asleep.
one that shouted.
Gemini went right back into his bag
Instantly kicked in the head.
kick
Just
Gemini
that-
in the head?
Yeah, just a rude awakening.
Okay, he's gonna.
Gemini, why did you shout?
Baron, why do you think I'm going to answer you after you kicked me in the head?
Because
Piss off. Good night.
you are the one that woke us up.
I heard a noise.
Okay.
Allie was gone. I woke everybody up. If you kick me in the head again, you're going to wake up with the mage hand inside your asshole. Good night.
Right. Don't wake us up like that
50p,
again.
20p, 50p, 20p, 50p.
Very strange.
There's a vague amount of anger in Varen's face, but he's too tired to care. So just goes back to bed thinking this was just all stupid.
Then
All right.
sort of sees Fluffles and is like, yeah, I forgot something. He starts to walk around going, what the frick? Oh, you hear a funk. Like, come on, fuck off back to your pocket dimension. How long have you been up there? And he's been flying up there this whole time. And like, sits back down and dims his light.
All right. So, the rest of the watch goes quite uneventful. Besides you, Ellie, cuddling with Fluffles. He seems very, very happy to be with you again. He's just purring and just constantly just trying to get closer to you and crawling up against you.
I
And
will like get my coat up and will button up a little bit and put him inside my coat and hold him under the coat so it's like really close and let him just sleep and like cuddle him. And I will
just
like
purring
slowly,
very, very loud.
yeah, and I would like quietly tell him about our adventure and how scary it was, but how awesome we were, and that he should be glad he wasn't there. And he's been a very naughty kitty for running away from the safe place, but I'm really happy that he's there, and he's welcome to run away anytime as long as he runs to me.
All right.
All right.
So 2 hours of your watch passes. It's slowly there's like the darkness kind of starts to slowly shift, as in there might be light coming soon. What do you do?
Do I feel really tired and feel like I would need to get some more sleep, or do I think it's more time to wake everybody up because it's morning? So, very
Well,
soon.
roll your Constitution.
That's a. What's my constitution? Oh, that's a 19.
19. You're fine. You've got your little Fluffle battery plugged in. So yeah, you're not gonna go to sleep. You want them to wake up.
Yeah. We'll just wait for the sun to come up a little bit more, so it's actually light, or
Mhm.
close to light, and then I will like slowly go and wake them up.
All right. Excellent. So everybody wakes up, and you have all had a long rest.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
All of my ailments suddenly heal. I'm now perfectly okay.
And I should reset my hit points to max.
Well, not to max, but to the amount that you rolled. Yeah.
Yes, you get a full heal.
So like this last level, I told you guys to roll for your hit dice.
Yeah.
So it's not the maximum amount, but it's 3 times the maximum plus the amount that you rolled and your Constitution and stuff modifier, of course.
Yeah. Mine keeps trying to be stupid, but okay.
Whenever you click long rest, it automatically goes to your full max. It's bloody
Okay.
weird.
Then
on thing.
Then remind me, guys, to before we everybody logs off, that we need to go through a couple of steps to adjust that, because it's then we need to change a bit something in the settings of D&D Beyond, but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually just manually untick
Yeah, but
everything.
you shouldn't have to. But that's just because we need to alter just a small bit.
Ah, okay.
Right. So how many HPs would we normally heal then?
You would gain regain all your hit points.
Right. Okay.
So that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, I think the confusion there is because your current, you have a max there.
Yeah.
So maybe you're referring to not your max.
We'll get into it outside the stream. It's fine.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So it's early morning. There's a little dew here and there on some grass leaves, and you guys had an interesting night. This is really the first big in semi-dangerous locations that you guys camped together. So, yeah, there you go. It's morning. You survived. Woohoo!
Varen will get up and put his armor on, and everything's like usual.
Mm-hmm.
Is the campfire still going?
Ellie will probably have kept it going, yeah. So, but the wood that Gemini collected and that some of you guys just gathered around, there's a lot of wood lying around, but in the small circle that you are, most of the easy picking firewood is gone now.
I'm just gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's gonna wake up and get some rations out and start. Don't know. Do the rations contain cookable things, or is it like a boil in the bag, or cold, or?
Probably both. There are probably things that you could cook and make it a little bit more tasty, or at least warm. But the same thing you could also probably eat cold.
Yeah, I'll start warming and cooking what he can cook and make a bit of a breakfast.
All right.
Yeah, same.
Ellie's gonna.
Varen will make off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ellie's just gonna go like, is it always that quiet at night out in the woods?
Depends how much fire you have.
Well, the fire made noise, but I mean, it was really quiet.
It's probably better that way. If it's noisy, that usually means something's trying to kill you.
It was kind of creepy.
Sometimes when I come across dead bodies like we did last night, anywhere there's dead seems to be dreadfully quiet.
Might you say quiet as the grave?
One might say yes. He will make off in the graves direction and see if he can find a few sticks he can put together for a cross to mark the grave.
Usually, I would not have you roll for it because you're in a forest and, well, there's a lot of sticks around, but most of the sticks have been gathered to keep the fire going all night. So just roll a quick survival check.
Yes. That's 11.
11. Yeah, you find some sticks. They're not the best sticks, but you could probably make something out of it.
Mm-hmm. I'll do. So he'll go do that, and then when he comes back, he'll do some weapon practice with the shield.
Okay.
Vince will turn to Gemini and be like, well, did you burn the bodies?
Oh, no, Varen wanted to bury them to appease his god, so...
He sort of pulls out like a wee book. He starts flicking through it and sort of shows it to Gemini, and it's a crude drawing of a zombie, and underneath the note, important, burn the body.
Oh, yes, I'm well aware, but you know how people are with their gods. There are, however, kobolds around if you wish to burn those.
It's like, it's just the zombies, they come back.
Well, Varen said that if you cast the right rites, they won't come back. He had holy water.
Varen obviously hears this, and he says, yes, Ellie is right. There is a basic rites that are taught to all priests and paladins that stop undead from coming back.
Did you get all of them?
I don't know. Did I get all of them?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Well, you weren't able to bury all of them, but you could definitely have splashed holy water on all of them.
Yes, the rites were performed anyway, so.
Long did that take?
To bury them, quite some time, but the rites, not a lot.
Just big pile. One fireball. Done. Then all you've got to worry about is skeletons.
A fireball? Are you sure a fireball would be the best option for this?
Yes.
Fireballs tend to explode.
Yes. Because then what you do is not only do you burn the bodies, you also scatter them over a wide area so that, there's not one whole body in one place.
Baron's face is like utter disgust.
I must say the man's logic is flawless.
Indeed.
Not if you're the one that's having the body land on you.
That seems like someone else's problem. They will thank me when zombies don't kill them.
That's true. That's true.
Varen moves further away from this conversation and continues weapon training.
All right. So you all go through your morning routines. Most of you will probably eat something, do a bit of training, prepare spells, that sort of stuff. What do you guys do? It's you're all done with your morning stuff.
All right. What's the plan? Are we carrying on to check out this giant, or what would it?
Yes. That's what we came for, wasn't it? This is just a detour on the trip.
Right then. Onwards.
Tally-ho!
All right. You move onwards, and you travel onwards for a good couple of hours. And you will notice that the deeper you get into the forest, the thicker it becomes, the harder it becomes for you guys to actually find a proper path to go through. Actually, as you leave this clearing, a path isn't the right words. You just need to make your way through and past trees to move onwards, and it becomes harder and harder. The ground is very uneven. Things are covered in moss, and you don't travel as fast as you would do on a road. Just everybody roll survival.
Natural 1, you don't survive.
16.
15 for 19.
17 for Vern.
9.
Okay. This is one of those rolls where I kind of take the average of the entire party. So you guys do surprisingly well on your journey through the forest, and you, Ellie, as you get farther away from these things of death, you start to notice more and more sounds again, and it comforts you, and there's more and more life seems to be back into the forest, and you guys move onwards, and you actually pass a couple of lakes and little I wouldn't say hills or anything, but it's just these rocks just coming out of the ground, and it looks very much untouched by civilization. And it looks quite lovely, actually. Certain spots where you come, especially if there's the trees aren't clustered extremely thickly against each other. You get a nice little view of these nice pieces of forest. It looks pleasant. And as you move onward, you will notice that at one of the small, I wouldn't say lake, so it's more like a pond, you see a shape of a human sitting there. And it's quite far away yet, but not as far because your a lot of sight is being blocked by these many trees. But you can see through the trees that there's a small pond and there is somebody sitting there.
Look, a person!
Shh, Ali. Well, yes, you may speak, but just try to keep it down.
But it's a person. We
You
haven't really seen anyone since we started walking, except the kobolds and the zombies and the skeletons.
Yes.
Vince calls Who back from his little thing. And
let's go check it out. And then we'll start walking.
Vince grabs Alex like, wait. And he sends Who to...
Well, they're doing that. Gemini's going to stealth ahead.
All right, roll your stealth.
All right.
If he can go, I want to go.
You've used all your good rolls. No, it's okay.
I have good
19.
rolls.
All right, 19. You guys see Gemini sneaking forward, and he looks quiet and stealthy.
Vince looks through Who's eyes.
And as,
all right.
As I notice Vince like going away into the thing, I'm just gonna like jerk myself out of his grip and stealth ahead as well.
All right, roll your stealth.
That's a 4.
That's a 4. Okay.
Going away behind Gemini.
Who kind of flies through the trees and gets to this person the first, and you see what looks like a strange version of a female human, but her skin is bark and her hair are kind of leafy, and she's just sitting at the pond, and you see her kind of scooping water out of it and drinking. And as Who kind of quite unceremoniously breaks through the branches of this very small clearing, she looks up, and you see her kind of looking at you, or in this case Who, and she smiles, looks a bit surprised at apparently seeing an owl fly at this time of day, but then goes back and scoops another bit of water out of the pond. Where does Who just fly around, or what does he do?
Just sort of like lands on a branch or tree somewhere where he can see.
All right. There is, as if it was made, there's a little tree kind of growing, and it kind of sticks over the small pond. And there are beautiful branches for Who to land on, to be like, have 20/20 vision on her and just, hello, there you go. So he lands, but you see him kind of landing, and he has only this one claw. So he just he needs to balance himself for a moment, but he does. As this woman kind of looks at him, and you see her face now very clearly. At the beginning, you were flying kind of above her, and the leaves were kind of abstracting her face. It's clearly unhuman. She's not human, but the shapes are close enough to human that you see her and you go like, wow, that's a very beautiful creature there. And she kind of gets up and starts to step into the water and starts to move towards Who. Gemini, you kind of move through the branches. You move very quietly, but you hear behind you. You hear.
Turn around,
and you see Nim just. There's a branch stuck in her hair, and she's just yanking it.
I'll go over to her, get the branch out. I'll say, Ellie,
thank you.
Stay behind me. Okay. But, yes. Okay. I just want to go up. I'm a bit stealthier. We all have our thing that we're good at. So just let me go up. And if I need anything, I'll let you know. You can still follow. Just stay behind me quite a bit, okay?
Okay. Okay.
And then Gemini will head right back.
We need to stay
All
here,
right.
apparently.
By this point, Varen has probably tapped Vince on the shoulder just to keep him steady.
Uh-huh. Okay, you kind of hold on to Vince, and you see him. It looks a bit unnerving, but it looks a bit unnatural that he's just standing there, like his pupils are gone, and he's just standing there. And you see there's these little bits of mimicking in his face. It's weird.
Varen has seen it before. He goes blind, and he can feel touch, can't he?
He can feel touch. He can. So I believe he can also still move, but it's just it looks weird.
He knows I'm there anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. How far do you stay behind, Ellie?
I'm probably staying where you told me to stay, and just muttering a bit of Fluffles, but quietly. Yeah, I know we don't like him at the moment. Ian means he's stupid.
You, Gemini, move through, and you see a similar thing as I described to Vince. Only now you see this woman in the water to just around her waist. You see her kind of moving very gently towards Hu, and she's quite close to him now, and you see her hands kind of reaching out to him. Vince, if you want to do something about this, or you want Hu to do something, just let me know.
Can I see what she looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell that she... you get a very poison ivy kind of vibe from her, but you can tell clearly that either she's wearing something, but her to cover her skin, but her skin looks more of that of a tree than of a human.
Would I know what she is by looking at her?
Roll your history.
Just because I can Vince make that roll as well.
Sure.
By the way, Vince, Varen tapped you on the shoulder to keep you steady.
Okay.
That's a 7.
History, did you say?
Yeah.
That is 18.
18. Gemini, you don't really have... It's probably some creature of the forest, but what? There are so many. Vince, you have a clear idea of what kind of race or creature this is. You would very much assume that this creature is a forest entity, and they often go under the name of Dryad.
Yep. And would Vince know whether they're usually good, usually neutral, usually... Not maybe in those terms, but would it be a fair assumption to know whether this creature might want us harm or not?
You would know. You rolled an 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would know that these creatures are on usually, and I'm just speaking in generals. You know that with every creature there are always exceptions to the rule. But in general speaking, these creatures are known to be on very good standing with nature, their surroundings, and animal life. And you also know that they are they don't interact very often with humans or humanoid creatures, not even elves. They very much keep to themselves, and they don't, how do I put it? They're not aggressive or anything towards human races or humanoid races, but they more try to keep their distance because they don't know how they'll react. They seem a bit strange to them.
Okay, before she can actually touch who, because I don't know what the hell she's going to do, like if there's some kind of connection or something, Gemini is like thinking of everything, so Gemini is going to come out, and in Sylvan, because that's a language he knows, he's going to say, "Pardon me, beautiful."
The woman turns her head and looks at you. "Pardon you," she says. In Sylvan.
Yes. I was curious. Where are
you see and hear this, by the way, Vince, but you might not understand it, what they're saying.
He does not.
No.
Where are we? Is this a special place?
You see her now. She's taken a look at you, and you see her taking a couple of steps. She turned to you and takes a couple of steps deeper into the pond. And
I'm not here to harm you. I wouldn't do that. This is your home. I am an outsider. I do want to warn you that I have friends here. They also do not wish to harm you, but that owl there belongs to one of them.
She looks at the owl.
We are just
make the wave, or make the wings sort of like doughy. Right.
She looks and now takes a step away from the owl.
We're not here to harm you or your home or anything else in this forest. We're trying to find something that we fear may be harming things and people. And I was wondering if maybe you could provide some assistance.
You see her looking at the owl and you, and looks at who. Her eyes kind of, she goes back and forth a couple of times, and then her eyes linger at who, and she says, "Why is he hurt?"
Oh, I'm not certain. You would have to ask his companion. I have no idea.
Did he hurt him?
No. That much I'm sure of.
Her hand kind of extends towards who.
Yeah. Who stays there?
I'm gonna just so you're aware. My friend, he and this animal are bound to one another, and he can see through the animal's eyes. So whatever you're about to do to that animal, I'm certain will be to help it, but be aware that that animal is connected to my companion.
Who is your companion?
His name is Vince. He's a wizard type with the arcane and the magics.
She looks at who more intently and says something. Do any of you have animal speech?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
I kind of know.
All right, then none of you will understand what she's saying. And she's clearly addressing who, or you in this case, Vince, but you have no idea what she's saying. There's not so much, there's a little bit of tone to it, but there is also a bit of gesturing and thing you don't know.
And I'm listening
just
through who?
I can understand that it's hard, but try to be sure that Vince doesn't understand what the conversation between Gemini and this creature is about.
Yeah. No, he's just working off the principle that he knows that these dryads are usually good, and generally don't harm things, especially not animals. So he's fairly certainty that who's in no danger.
I'm not entirely certain that that animal is real in the sense that you and I would understand. If you want, I can bring out my companions and he can explain to you how the animal was injured. And then maybe you can help us.
All right.
Okay, I'll just wait right here. There are 3 of us, aside from myself, and I'll bring them. Do not be worried. And I'll go back and I'll grab everyone and tell them, hey, this dryad is very skittish. She appears to be the type to flee, but or actually I wouldn't know it's a dryad, but this person appears skittish. But I also get the sensation that they are of this land and may be able to help us. She's very concerned about who.
Who?
I hate you.
Sorry. If Vince is still in who, he won't hear any of this. What you're saying to him.
Yeah, I'll be telling Varen basically, and
I'll
Ellie.
give Vince the double tap.
Yeah.
Vince will stay in who, keeping an eye on the dryad.
She is examining him from a distance, and you have the feeling that she is trying to communicate with him, and she seems. Roll your insight. Let's see how much you can read off of her.
Insight. Is it 10?
It's a 10. You have the idea, but you're not 100% sure that she's worried of the fact that who is not responding.
Well, because who isn't really an animal? He's
No.
fae by creation. So I was going to say, like, would I feel that who would respond if I was not?
No, who is an animal, but is not an animal in that form. So, especially as long as you're controlling him or inside of him,
but he still has a consciousness of sorts.
Yeah, he does. He has a personality of sorts, but it's not like an owl.
Yeah. In that case, what Vince will do, sort of seeing that she's trying to communicate with who, he'll release who, and go back to his body and let whatever conversation happen.
Yeah.
If any.
As soon as he does, Gemini's just going to basically say, there's a creature over there. She seems very skittish. I am worried she may try to flee. Do not act aggressively towards her. She's very concerned about your elves, so you're going to have to explain that. And Ellie, when we go up there, make sure to have fluffles. I think that might help us here. But the reason I would like to speak to her is because I think she may be able to help us with our giant duty.
I always have
just
fluffles.
as he finishes his like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's a dryad, so don't fuck with nature, don't break a twig, don't harm a tree, just be nice to every natural thing, and we should be fine. They're usually not aggressive.
Did you hear him, Varen? We do not kill this one. Do not kill.
Why would I kill a living creature?
Why would you kill a dead creature?
Because they're supposed to be dead.
Oh yes, and the kobolds.
Oh,
and the orcs. You've killed many living creatures.
The orcs.
Come, Fluffles, let's go check out the giant.
As long as it's good in nature, there's no problem with me.
Vince is
Ellie
like,
starts walking already.
Do not say it. She's a she. Might piss her off.
Okay, I know nothing of these creatures. I'll let you lead on this one.
I know nothing of gender politics.
As Vince sort of is walking forward, he's like, Gemini, say nothing.
I'm the reason we're having this accord, and none of you can speak to her, probably.
Vince knows Elvish. I think that might be potentially a language they might know.
Fair.
That's what I'm going with anyway. Either that or, she's getting goblin.
Yeah, that won't freak her right the fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, while they were finishing the discussion, I had already started walking because I was like, "Oh, Dryad, shiny!"
Yeah.
Kinda.
I'll follow Ellie. Quickly.
And I'm telling Fluffles about what a Dryad is, according to what I have heard, probably through children's tales. I'm like, I might be very wrong.
I'm kind of trying to listen and piece it together with things I might remember.
Yeah, the fact that you heard that it's a dryad, you think like, yeah, I think I heard stuff about these dryads, and the things that Vince mentions to you definitely make sense to you. You're like, yeah. That's he's right. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway, so I will carry Fluffles and like probably take the lead out towards the glade.
So you're the first one to get back to the or at least to get to the lake, and you see this woman is I wouldn't say holding, but especially she's touching Who, and there is some wind blowing unnaturally, to your opinion, and the tree that Who is sitting on is moving more than a tree should.
I will, when I walk out and I like notice this and see the tree moving, like, this is cool. I will like say that quietly to Fluffles.
As you approach and you kind of break the green that is surrounding this pond, she turns around and looks at you, and you see her eyes kind of narrow. And you are what type of gnome again? A rock gnome, right?
Yeah, I'm not a forest gnome. I'm the
no.
Yeah, rock gnome.
A rock gnome. She kind of looks at you, and she sees her kind of pulling back.
I stop moving.
Would I catch up at this time?
Yeah. You'll probably be the next, and then Varen and Vince will be like 1 feet behind you.
Don't. And Sylvan, don't worry. This is one of my companions. She has a cat, and this one, I can vouch, is real.
She looks. Are you holding Fluffles?
Yeah,
or?
I'm like having my arm like this, so he kind of sits on it. So I'm not actually holding him, but he's more like just lifting him so he can sit in my arms.
Okay. She looks at it and nods. Is it her friend? She asks in Sylvan.
Yes, this the two of them seem very close. Yes.
She nods. And then Vince and Varen will also kind of break through the greens, and the nervousness of this woman jumps up quite significantly. You see her; she kind of moves back.
It's okay. These are my other companions. I told you there were 3 more. These are they. And I'll turn back.
Dark one. She kind of moves away.
That seems a little racist, but okay, we'll go with it. Varen, we're gonna need you to fuck off. Just fuck off for a moment. She appears to be upset.
Okay, not the words I would have used, but she seems to be very off-put by my appearance.
Yes.
I will go further into the forest.
See,
kind of step back.
And it's not like he just leaves because he was told to. He seems very depressed about this.
Go on, but not because you told me to.
No, it's...
Vince, you will, as you kind of come here and now see it with your own eyes, I won't even have you roll for it because you two are linked, you immediately notice there's something different going on, and you see who kind of standing there on this branch, and you can tell that he's standing like he's never stood before. And you see he had his right claw, but you can now see that he has a left claw as well.
And a middle claw.
But it's made out of wood, but you see it kind of moving and just holding on to the branch.
Because we're linked, do I have a third leg now? So I just side effect.
Yeah. Your third leg is now made out of wood. Yeah.
I gotta watch out for those splinters. As Vince comes in, you actually see him strangely show a lot more decorum than he would ever have shown, or that you've seen him so far. And he takes off his hat and bows to the Dryad and says in Elvish, if she understands it. He says, "Do you speak Elvish? And thank you for helping my friend."
She nods and says back in Elvish, "Yes, I understand you."
Hearing this, Ellie will totally perk up, Elvish? But she won't say anything, but definitely you can see a hint of recognition.
Vince will ask again, sort of, or not again, but will ask, what does it upset you about our other friend? A sort of gesture to where Varen fucked off to.
Dark skills. He is born from an evil dragon.
I could buy that. No, he doesn't say that. Okay, but he's our companion. He's helped many people. He helped a lot of the forest from orcs.
She looks at she looks at Gemini. He is like you.
We are similar.
No one's like me.
I, however, am unique. We are similar, but I would argue that though his scales may be black, and he may have been born possibly of an evil dragon, I would argue he's a better man than me. You should want him here. He's a healer.
She looks surprised at these words.
He cares very much about life, just as I'm certain you do. And I'll kind of nod over towards who and the leg.
She's
also a healer. Can I have him come back?
She nods. Yes.
Yeah, I'll turn over towards where Baron is and be like, "Baron, fuck back!"
I was about to say fuck on, but yeah, you're supposed to.
Does Baron hear him?
Probably. He's loud.
Right. He'll not come all the way. He'll be probably still in the tree line.
All right.
He doesn't.
Yes, because that's not far creepier.
No, he doesn't feel very wanted by this creature, so he'll keep a good distance, but still within seeing distance. So,
okay. She looks at the four of you, and she starts to carefully move through the pond towards you. And as she does, she stops about halfway and looks at you, Ellie, and says in Sylvan, so you probably don't understand it, What is it?
I will tilt my head and seeing that they spoke Elvish and she seemed to understand it, I will reply in Elvish. I'm sorry, I don't speak that language. I do speak Elvish.
Her hand kind of points at Fluffles. Says, "What is it?" she says in Elvish.
It's a cat, isn't it? You're a cat, right? You look like a cat. It's not a cat?
She shakes her head.
It's Peter Pettigrew this whole time.
Fluffles? But...
No hardcore.
He should be a cat.
No.
No? Do you...
That's where we'll pick it up next time.
You can't... Well, my cat isn't a cat.
I wonder, is Master of Flowers joining us on our weekly streams, and this is how you're introducing him? I was here all this time. With Ellie still holding him.
Hello.
Well, I mean, Master of Flowers is a big cat lover, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Can that be canon now? That just the cat is Master of Flowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check with him every time Fluffles does something.
Yeah. Fluffles licks himself. Roll dexterity.
All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks everybody for listening and for participating and stuff. I hope you had a good time, and we'll see each other most likely next week.
Yeah.
Or at least next week, maybe sooner. Who knows?
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.